Hello, hopefully you guys can see me and hear me and all that kind of thing. Had a bit of a request for how to upgrade the brakes on the Dark Wolf Ultra from Surinoya, so I thought I'd just jump in and do it. It's probably like the easiest practical project you've ever tried to tackle in your life. But that being said, I've played around with a few different configurations, so hopefully maybe the stuff that I can show you might help you out. So let's switch over to the tabletop view. So these are the magnets that I spoke about in the blog article, which I can link below if that's helpful. Um, Basically, the ones on the right hand side here, and you can't get them too close together, otherwise they kind of jump on top of each other. But these two on the right hand side, they are 1 millimeter thick and 4 millimeter diameter, and I think the rating is something like N42. But again, just double check in the blog post about the strength rating. There's also like a pull force sort of rating on there as well. And then the other two, they are 4 millimeters in diameter again, but they're just 0.5 mm thick. So that's the only thing you need to know. So this here is obviously the braking sort of apparatus that sits within the Dark Wolf. You can see they've got the little banks of magnets there. Key thing is that the thick end here, that is where the pivot is. So you want to be putting the fattest magnet furthest away from the pivot on each one of the banks. You don't need any tools, you don't need any glue. You basically just slap them on there and you're good to go. So starting with the bigger ones first, the 1 millimeter thick ones first. Just a little bit fiddly to kind of scrape up off the bench, and I'm kind of reaching around the camera gear here a little bit as well. Well, let's assume you can pick that up and just feed it into place on there, and that's got it there. You can see it sort of sticking out. It's just got enough space to fit nicely between the spool. If you put it on this bit here, because the pivot doesn't move, there's not enough space to fit that strong magnet on this end. Plus, this is the end that is kind of important anyway, because that's the one that's actually going to move towards or away from the spool to apply the braking. Sticking with the same bank of brakes, just get your second magnet, cover up the biggest one, the tallest one, because it's quite strong and it might want to jump onto that brake, and just slide it on there, and it wants to jump into the correct place anyway, as long as you cover up that tall one. So that's one bank of brakes done. So onto the other ones. Again, start with the strongest one. If I can just get in my fingernails. Opposite the widest bit, which is the pivot. This is the black dot here, is the wider diameter dot out of the two that are facing each other. This one's the actual pivot. Slap it on there. You can hear it go into the correct place, and you can see it just there. Same again with the other one. Apologies for the slightly husky voice. I'm just coming out the tail end of a cold that my kids very kindly brought home for me. Obviously done all the lateral flow testing and things. It's not COVID, but still fairly miserable. But there we go. That's it. And then it's just a case of slotting those back into place on the reel itself. Just wiggling it in there, and don't forget to close the hatch. And there it is done. As I say, that probably took me like 10 times as long as it'll actually take you to do it once you've got the right magnets. But yeah, like I said in the blog article, that completely transformed the casting performance of that reel. The magnets themselves, they're very, very affordable. They do tend to come in quite large numbers, but you may be able to find them in smaller packs. But either way, it's not going to cost you very much. And if there's a few of you doing it, you could just do a bit of a group share of stuff. Hopefully as well, either the manufacturers Surinoya themselves might actually incorporate a fix like this, or change to the brakes, or there may be opportunities from some retailers to get the little the magnets supplied with your reel, because you've still got, even if you prefer very light braking, when you turn it down to zero, it still works just as well as in the same way that it would do in the mid-range. So the only reason to not do that, in my mind, would be if you never use the casting brakes, if you only ever use your thumb in a kind of a super purist way. But that's obviously kind of down to personal choice or whatever. But I would strongly suggest that the performance boost you get from those, definitely worth doing. So if anything's unclear about that, let me know in the comments and I'll jump on and address them. But for now, if I can find my way back to the control panel, I can probably jump out of here and say goodbye.